Welcome back to the program. For any of you that have been watching, and for those that maybe don't know, I had a fire in a rental house here a few months ago. What an upsetting experience that is. It was a wall fire, an electrical fire, and the damage was remarkable. I've never been through such a thing. So then you got to deal with the insurance company, and then you got to say, well, who's going to fix this? And it's just it's stressful to say the least, right? Well, I found a company along the way that I just had to brag about a little bit. I'm going to spotlight a company today that's not only a leader in property restoration, but a champion for the nation's veterans, right? PuroClean, known as the paramedics of property damage, they have rapidly ascended in the industry. They're ranked 154th now in the Franchise Times 2024 Top 400 list, and that's a lot of folks out there. They've made a significant leap, up 38 spots from last year, but beyond their impressive growth, PuroClean, they're making waves with this program called PuroVet. It's designed to help America's veterans transition from military service to business ownership. And joining me today are Steve White. He's the president and COO of PuroClean. He's also a proud former U.S. Army captain. And Paul Edelstein, he's the director of the PuroVet program and director of communications for the National Veteran Business Development Council. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Steve, thank you.
As you guys know, I've been through this process, and it has been remarkable. You guys came out, you were fast. In fact, I had Frank Torrey, the guy that owns the companies, call me on a Sunday and say, hey, how can we help? I've never had that happen before. Somebody that owns a company say, hey, how can we help you? You're in a time of need. I know it's stressful, right there on the phone. So, Steve, for those unfamiliar, tell me about PuroClean and its recent achievements.
Well, water, fire, mold damage, biohazard damage happens around us every single day. And you mentioned our tagline, the paramedics of property damage. You know, if something happens to your physical person, you can go to an emergency room, but you can't take your home or your office to an emergency room. So you call the paramedics of property damage, and we send a crew, and we begin the cleanup process. It happens every day. Somebody's got to take care of it. It's an emergency service. That's why you got to call from Frank on a Sunday, because we have to be 24/7, 365 in this business all the time. You know, stuff happens where you live or where you work. You often can't work or live there again until we come and clean it up. It's what we do. We have set ourselves up as a franchise to enable rapid expansion. We now have 500 locations across the United States and Canada providing this service every single day. We're known for our award-winning training, our support programs to our franchisees all across the U.S. and Canada, and we're recognized as one of the absolute top performers, not just in franchising in general, but in property restoration today.
Sure, and I can tell you, folks, I have been impressed. And look, I'm not easily impressed, but these guys, the owner calls on a Sunday, does Frank Torrey. Their team is out there the next day as he promised. They've walked through the process. They've walked me and Ivy through step by step. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how it's going to be handled. Here's what the insurance company has to do. It's been professional, to say the least, right? So I want to discuss this PuroVet program, though, because you guys have done something different here, and this was really intriguing to me. You're reaching out to veterans saying, hey, look, vets, we're expanding our company. 500 offices now. We'd like to have a lot more. We'd like veterans to be a big part of what's going on here. So, Steve, what created this inspiration?
Well, it's inspired by Frank Torrey, who you just mentioned. Frank's dad served in the Marine Corps in World War II in the Pacific Theater and was part of an elite unit called Carlson's Raiders. Actually, there was a movie made about them after World War II. And that service and lifetime of being involved in veterans' causes after he came out of the Marine Corps in World War II, you know, in turn inspired Frank's patriotism and want to do things like this. You know, and we're very excited to be able to offer this to my fellow military veterans. You know, about 7% of the U.S. population has ever served in the United States military. 14% of all PuroClean locations are owned by a military veteran.
And I want to bring Paul into the conversation here. Paul, look, it's a big undertaking, and I think that a lot of people watching this are going to be, that's a great idea. Let's get the vets involved and see if we can set them up for long-term success after they serve this country. So let's talk about strategic partnerships and your goals. How many veteran-owned franchisees do you want?
Our goal is to get 100 veteran-owned system franchises in our system. So under Frank's leadership, the big thing that we've done is we've created numerous strategic partnerships in the marketplace, namely a partnership with the council called the National Veteran Business Development Council. What that enables our veteran franchisees to do is access corporate supply chains. So set aside contracts in restoration. Once they are certified by this council, they're able to access additional revenue generating opportunities. So we're basically doing everything we can to help veterans succeed in this industry. Outside of giving them 25% off the franchise fee, we have mentorship opportunities. We offer training and support. We've just launched something called the PuroVet Forum, which is basically a weekly forum where we empower our veteran franchisees to really understand the system, to really understand how to generate revenues through the supplier diversity program. So basically, our goal is to get 100 in our platform this year, but we're not stopping there. As Steve pointed out, we're on a rapid growth, and our goal is to get 200 within 2 years.
Well, that's remarkable. You're talking basically 1 in 5, 20%. If you've got 500 now, I'm not real great with math, but 100 out of about 500 would be about 20%. I can do that math. That's remarkable. So 100 in the short term and 200 veteran-owned businesses in the more extended term. That's pretty remarkable, Steve. And these veterans receive not just the benefits of the PuroVet program, but they get to own businesses. They get a chance to go out there and really have an impact on their communities and be successful, right?
That's right. And they pretty easily shift their mindset from a mission to serve their country to serving their local community, because these are services that are really important to local communities all across our country. And they're pretty successful. As Paul said, we have a new PuroClean Veterans Forum that we started 7 or 8 months ago. And now we're talking to each other. We have side sessions just for our veteran franchisees at our recent company convention in Dallas. And so we'll do everything we can. We help them with financing on the way in, anything we can do to help them. We feel like we owe it to them. And in turn, a lot of them want to hire military veterans as employees of their businesses.
There you go. I mean, this is a big strategy for veterans. Paul, I want to bring you in again. Look, you look 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. What is the broad vision for PuroVet? Maybe 10 or 15 or 20 years down the road.
Absolutely. The goal is to create the largest platform, a largest military community in the franchising industry, in the restoration space. So our goal, of course, is not to stop at 200. Our goal is to continue growing this program, really to give our veterans the opportunity to succeed. Just like Steve pointed out, it's a business, it's a family legacy.
Absolutely.
It's an ability for them to serve their community. So of course, we're not stopping at 200. Our goal is to basically become the largest veteran platform for property damage restoration.
And that's a great goal. Listen, guys, if you've been watching, if you're a veteran, you know somebody, here's what you need to know. PuroVet.com, PuroVet.com, or you can call 855-PuroVet. You can get comprehensive information or contact them directly. Look, these guys are doing great work. Steve, Paul, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time. We'll have you back because this is just step one to getting some veterans on board. Guys, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Again, it's PuroVet.com or 855-PuroVet. PuroVet.com or 855-PuroVet. What a program. This is The Steve Gruber Show.